stomach, your back. Just kind of systematically relax your body from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet and slow your breathing down. Just make yourself aware of your breathing because it is an involuntary process that the innate intelligence of our body is doing, whether we are conscious of it or not. And so to take your attention and to focus, voluntarily focus on this involuntary process is you saying to your life force, to the source of your life force, quantum field, God, by paying attention to this miracle of your breathing, whether you are awake or asleep, is you acknowledging that you are ready to pay attention to what you are. And the more you prioritize allowing yourself to be aware of what you are, rather than what society has taught us who we think we are, we are integrating every bit of who we think we are into what we are. You can keep your eyes open or closed and really be aware of how it feels to be totally relaxed in your body. So relaxed that your body can almost go to sleep, but that through your conscious participation in this, as your body is resting and you are voluntarily choosing to be aware of the innate intelligence of our bodies, this life force. When we do that, we are totally letting go of who we think we are. And we are letting the integration into what we are to happen easily. It's bridging the conscious and the unconscious. It is the bridge between all duality. And the beautiful thing is that we are all already unified to this life force that allows us to be here, to perceive reality. And that if we continue to get so good at relaxing so deeply and at the same time keep our awareness, our attention bright, so you're taking the polarity of complete calm and total bright conscious awareness, and you are integrating the two of that into you. You are allowing yourself to be married in the most important relationship that any of us are ever going to have. And that through that relationship, we begin to attract others who are also prioritizing that relationship. And through this process, we begin to consciously reconnect to this life force we are and all of the institutional influences, all of the mental conditioning, all of the social indoctrination begins to dissipate and go away. because this life force is so much bigger than all the chaos that the patriarchy, that everybody's addiction to greed and consumerism and all of these lower frequencies or states of being that have been normalized, not normal. And by doing this, choosing to make this relationship the priority, and then coming together with others who are also doing the same. This is all of us bringing that initiative to activate the 100th monkey. And in doing so, how many or how few does it take to truly be connected internally and together to really create an entirely new way of being in our bodies and in this world that overlays all the toxicity that most of us aren't interested anymore. And so just allow yourself to be in that place of total relaxation and total bright awareness, as Laura will get us clued into everything that's happening in this physical solar system, this galaxy. And during this time that we spend together, let's bring our best selves. Let's put a smile on our face and feel it reverberate through our entire body, so that together we are choosing to feel happy, to feel faith, trust, inspiration. We are choosing to feel that because we are the ones initiating it. We don't need anybody or anything external of us to do that. We do it by choice alone. And when we get really good at that, and we come together with others who are, that's when we begin to create a world and a life that we all love. And it is the light of that awareness that will change the collective conscious that is stuck in old perceptual beliefs from systems that we don't need anymore and that we are growing out of. So as you open your eyes, bring your attention back to all of us here. I love you, Laura. You're literally one of my favorite people in this world. And so many others say the same. And so to be able to connect with you and do this, I'm sure I'm speaking for many of the people here. It's exciting.
Oh gosh. Right back at you, Seth. Oh, this is so wonderful. What a beautiful way to begin this. What an incredible meditation. And so much about what's happening astrologically is about this inner union and this healing process and this letting go of our dependency bond with this inverted system that has really created a lot of personality distortions and projections and expectations and just indoctrinations and programmings that has really targeted a person's self-worth that we're beginning to redefine on our own terms. And that's really what I feel Uranus and Taurus is all about, because Uranus is like the wrecking ball. Um, Taurus is an earth sign ruled by Venus, and it has to do with self-worth and has to do with abundance. And when we look at abundance and self-worth and the sort of societies that we are raised in, it's very much about the external and what we are given approval of, like how we measure up to a system with our grades, our degrees, our certifications. and all the things that sort of define what it means to be successful or abundant or rich or wealthy, right? Well, Uranus and Taurus is just sort of the wrecking ball asking us, well, wait a second. What about what you value? What do you value? What is your self-worth really all about? Are you really being true to yourself? Right? So there's a lot of shock and upheaval that comes with Uranus kind of energy. And a lot of the breakdowns people are having is, if that sense of identity gets ripped away from you, who are you? What do you have to fall back on? And that's the opportunity with Pluto moving into Aquarius and a lot of the plutonic energies that we've been experiencing, to dive real deep into what does it mean to like really live my truth and have self-worth defined by you manifesting abundance in your life because you're doing what you love, that supports your integrity, your spiritual path, your morals, right? You're not going to compromise yourself for a paycheck because you were taught that if you go down this road, you will make a lot of money, you'll get all the, you'll live that American dream or whatever. And if you don't, yeah, well, you're kind of a loser and you're sort of an outcast. You don't follow the, whatever. So there's all these shakeups happening because the greater cosmic intelligence knows how to repair itself, just like we do when we get injured. The nature of us, our soul, and just creation knows how to repair itself when an injury takes place. So the galactic wars, the exploded planets, the cataclysms that have taken place, and all these things that have put us in this precarious position as a human race who is born with amnesia, is in this system that is knowing how to repair itself, that we are a part of, which is the organic ascension timeline. How we are able to switch on dormant DNA and begin to learn from all of our lifetimes the many important lessons and growth that it takes to really recognize, what we need to clear, overcome, so that we can gain wisdom and self-knowledge and greater clarity and mindfulness, so that we can get back into alignment with true source energy instead of these, false distortions and lower creator gods and imposters that have really kind of duped us out of our divine birthright. So everything that's happening on an astrological level is part of this repair work, and we are linked into it. Absolutely. The planets connect with our organs, our endocrine system, our nervous system, our everything about our physical body, and chakras and consciousness. And so the inverted system and cabal and sort of negative agenda that's very parasitic likes to leverage these initiations and growth periods that are taking place on an organic level to throw us a sort of psyop and distraction, so that we are in the shadow, unconscious reaction response that drops us into survival or fear, so that we continue to give our power away and invest in a script that is taking us down a trajectory which is actually artificial and engineered. And the more we invest in it, the more we are a part of it. And that's part of that assimilation process of separating us from the soul matrix so that we don't ascend. So that's what we're cutting the cords with. That's what we're letting go of. And I always refer to it like breaking up with a bad partner. This is not the true creation that we are meant to be in union with. This is the false parent, the false partner, or the abusive one that we need to recognize. I'm worthy of more. I deserve better. My self-worth is not in being rewarded by that system or punished by that system, but in finding your truth so that you can recognize the unconditional love of creator source that dwells within you, that can begin to ignite all these dormant strands of DNA to begin to repair, all that's been damaged, because nature knows how to repair itself. And so it's very significant to come together on a new moon in Aquarius with a nice tight square to Uranus and Taurus, which is really probably for a lot of people pushing you to kind of a breaking point, or a lot of emotions might be coming up. You're really, really preparing for being super, super bold as we're facing the nodal axis with North Node in Aries and Chiron in Aries with the South Node Libra. So what Seth was talking about in the meditation is a lot about, healing that wounded ego, the wounded warrior, the wounded healer in connection with Mars. What do we need to face in our ego identity that we can be transparent enough about, so that that warrior energy can be a light warrior on a mission to do the real work and say, okay, we're wounded. Now it's time to rehabilitate. Let's all hold hands together and unify and not get caught up in these false movements and these divide and conquer strategies that are tricking us into thinking that that's progressive or that's, moving forward, when it's like a false kind of artificial representation of what this ascension really is all about. So we see gender confusion when it's really about hierogamic union and recognizing integration of polarity within our own being. We see, all these different tactics, like with climate change, when there's been geoengineering, when really we are the climate change, because we're going to change our inner elementals and we're going to clear it of the toxicity, because we are elemental beings: earth, air, fire, water, ether. So it's very important that we're very much in touch with whatever comes up, instead of shoving it down or trying to give your power away to somebody else to define it for you and tell you what that's going to look like. Maybe get a little bit of assistance with all of that, but make sure it never defines your reality without you having a complete and total voice in that process. Those are the real people that are here to help, is when they listen to you and help you to get to know yourself better and get more in touch with yourself in the face of any kind of adversity, disease, injury, or challenge. Because that is what challenge is for us to get closer to ourselves, not further away. Those are the ultimate initiations, really, in many ways that show up in our lives. So, the body knows how to signal things to us so that we can get in touch with something that might be trapped, something that might not be resolved. If we're not able to process it and clear it at the time of a trauma or an event, then the body ends up taking it on, and it wants to just say, I need your attention. I need your love. Get in touch with me, instead of fear me and give it to somebody else that's going to, just maybe take away the symptoms, but cause a lot more damage in the process, right? So we're getting much more in touch with what it truly means to heal, how much it's in us to be able to do that. And we all have such a unique journey as far as what, we came in, what families we were born into, what challenges we met along the way. But that is what ends up showing you what your mission is, because when you overcome it, that becomes the blessing and gift that you get to give to others, because you become the triumphant warrior. Because we can only win the war on consciousness within ourselves by not playing into the disempowerment or the reward punishment system, the dependency bond, and all the fear connected to survival, when Mother Earth and everything that we're made of is absolutely abundant. And as we get in touch with all these dormant abilities, we will not need the things that we feel this attachment to, as we notice that it's getting ripped away. We want it to clasp, but at the same time, it's like, where are we left? Like, what do we do? If we don't have that page, or we have to leave that job, or we have to move on. And I think Seth and our life experience really showed when everything was taken away from us. And I know a lot of you have had similar experiences. It's all about your mindset. I remember being on the side of the road, living out of a vehicle with my kids, no money. Like, how am I going to survive? I could be in survival and be a victim, or I can recognize that I'm an abundant being and I can manifest and create. And as long as I can keep my frequency above survival and poverty consciousness or victimhood, I will be able to manifest synchronicities and see a divine flow and magic that actually supports me and my deeper calling. And that falling apart and not working out was a blessing. And so thank God, because that is me making agreement with myself that I'm no longer willing to participate or be in a dependency bond, and I can, survive. And of course, the wilderness training helped too. But we have everything we could possibly need, and the most beautiful part of it is we have each other. So when we feel that day come where we're just like, oh, having a really hard time, because I still have them, even I don't care what my survival skills are, I still have them, and I'm sure you guys do too. That we all can be real with each other and just, be that shoulder to cry on, and be that person, you can feel safety with, so that we can be transparent and realize that Chiron, the wounded healer, is connected with the Theakis and the ether element. And ever since the sun started to move through the 13th sign of Theicus, this ether energy, this unconditional love of the mother has just been pouring into us to cleanse these toxins, to cleanse us and deprogram us from all this patriarchal programming and imbalance between the masculine and feminine, and all this divide and conquer that the cosmos and the greater intelligence of creation itself is nurturing and supporting, our ascension. And that is the real timeline. Everything else is theater. And it's time to just say enough already. Enough with the drama, enough with the pain, and enough with the, measuring our life direction with what we're seeing in the world. We don't have to participate in that script because we got a lot of a better one that is true to the divinity and the creative imagination and the dreams and visions that we hold, that we are capable of manifesting, along with Mother Earth, who supports this. And this is what it's all about. This is why we're here, is to collapse that inverted system, to heal the planetary grid network as we're healing this within ourselves, because our DNA and our chakras are connected to the planetary grids and the multidimensional cosmos, and there's no separation. We've only been distracted away from it. That unconditional love is always there. It'll never leave us. So let's just embrace the fact that our divine parents, our true creator, father, mother, and divine child, Christ Sophia, is our DNA template. And let it nurture you, and let it just work its magic by just surrendering and trusting yourself and every event that happens in your life, which is here to upgrade you, not make you more a victim. So being that warrior that can face these challenges is very much the Aries North Node Chiron and South Node Libra, reflecting upon where relationships are out of balance and where we're giving, all that. So I just don't want to, because there's so much to share. And, what are your thoughts? I mean, your meditation really spoke to that.
I don't know. You've said it all. Just you've really encapsulated the entirety of what we're doing, really. And so having that, it's interesting because we need an intellectual understanding of it in order to begin to allow the intuitive or instinctual perspective that we have to move to the front. And so we're using language, or we're using words or language or intellect to unlock the intellect. And it's so amazing how that happens. And you did that because as you're speaking, as the things you're saying, I'm feeling exactly what you're giving voice to. And I know others here are as well. And so to have everybody just in agreement together, and we're doing what we've claimed we're going to do, and it's going to get stronger. It's going to get more powerful because everything happening in the world right now, it is that crumbling. And then the only thing we have is that choice. We're going to live in fear and suffering and chaos because it's easy to do that. That's been the script, you could say, of society, is to live in all that stuff so you can be codependent on a bunch of consumer junk that has been destroying our world. I don't want that. I know you don't. So, right?
Totally. Yeah. So on a powerful new moon, like today, it's so wonderful to just be here with you and everybody that is joining us, to just really ground into, what you want to manifest for yourself in accordance with your authenticity and truth. And, there's a lot about what's happening in this year and how it's going into next year as Neptune moves into Aries. It's just going to be, very interesting. Saturn as well. It's just all these shifts are with the wounded Mars element ruling Aries, the North Node Aries with the Chiron in Aries. After really looking at all that and being the warrior that's willing to face the wounds and see them for what they are, and manifest for ourselves the jewels of wisdom that come from the pain, the beauty of what we discover about ourselves when we experience things that are not in alignment with our truth, instead of allowing it to continually to injure us. What is being revealed, that part of ourselves that's just wow, that actually helped me to find, my truth, because I'm not going to take it anymore. So
Yeah.
things shift into Neptune and the Aries Mars energy is connected to the Neptune, now the ego is integrated with the multidimensional and the creative imagination. Whereas it's very easy for that to be compartmentalized, where the ego is not very connected with that world, right? And with the Saturn Neptune conjunction, Saturn, the reality checks can really begin to make a person feel depressed. Like, I'm trying to manifest my visions and dreams, but it's just not happening because Saturn keeps but the thing with Saturn is those are the obstacles and challenges that we gain mastery over. Those are the hurdles that keep hitting us that we might resent or get angry at, but we're learning to leap over it. We're learning to be that spiritual athlete that gains the strength in the face of it to be able to fly over those challenges, to not take them so personally, to not, be so victimized by it, to the point where we go into the higher level of Saturn, which is all about self-mastery and being like the teacher because you face those adversities. So that is kind of, what we're moving through. So that the Neptune energy can begin to ground in the Saturn law of structure instead of Saturn overpowering it and suppressing it and censoring it and saying those dreams aren't valid, those can't be created, because we're infecting your creative channels with propaganda, indoctrination, false flags, and psyops. And that's where your creative energy is going to go. So that's the struggle right now. And when we don't allow that, and we see that as a trial and tribulation that we are warrior spirits to be able to surmount and overcome, then wow, Saturn's like, okay, I'm welcoming this multidimensional Neptune energy. It can ground it, in the law of structure of Saturn, so that is the anchoring of heaven on earth. Until then, it's a little bit of a, what feels maybe like a power struggle, or, it's just like with Saturn squaring Uranus back in 2021, just the things that are trying to stop these enormous outer planets that are initiatory. Saturn is just like, no, you can't. We're not ready to let you guys go because we need your loosh. We need to feed on you. It's like, no, we are the new Earth energy. We're taking Saturn back. We're healing it. We're dissolving the rings in the Saturn moon matrix, and we're restoring the true divine template, and we're winning over the dark Saturn. And it's in the cosmic intelligence to defeat this. The Sophionic energy and the repair work happening on this planet is victorious. And all we need to do is be present with that and know that we are the conduits of this energy. And it's just incredible to share with each other, because everything about unity consciousness is the repair work to rebuild that 12-strand DNA. We all carry different codes and different frequencies and different levels of all of this. That's why we have our unique astro chart, right? And you begin to notice that these maps, it's like 12 houses, 12 signs, now a 13th one. We are assisting each other. Our diversity is assisting the rebuilding of this template. So diversity and harmony is true oneness. So the more we are authentic and true to ourselves, the more we are participating in being able to unify. And so this new world order, we all have to think the same, is a cop-out. So we want to embrace our uniqueness and recognize the common thread of how that unifies us, because that's how ecosystems and web of life works on a human scale.
Holy moly. And as you're saying all this, I'm feeling it. And it's so crazy. Like how in tune do we want to be? Because to be this person you think you are, having this life experience, it's there. It's what we have to work with. But to feel like you are a literal living part of life, of these galaxies, of this, like you are a part of it all, no matter what, even if you don't think you are. And so to watch all of this begin to awaken, all of us start to realize that through nature alone, we have more support than any of these systems that are breaking. Pretty easy to get happy about that.
Oh, and totally. Yeah, it's like, I don't know what it was thinking. It's like you're really trying to overtake a planetary system, mess with its planetary grids, the divine angelic humans that are being born. It's just this vampiric, fallen, angelic realms. We could go into all that, but it's just, yeah, it just created this net so that we would not be able to make that connection, and we would be answering to these authority figures and these lower creator gods and these religions and all these belief systems that would that they would harvest in order to gain power, because the cabal, we say those are the powers that be, but they are not. We are the powers that be. They stole our power and became the powers that be. No, that's our power that we're calling back. And we have to remember that they don't have any power except for the power that they stole, because they're vampiric. So whatever power
Well,
they
but even that,
have
like
is
the
nothing.
power they have, we're giving them that power. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Like the more we continue to serve all these old belief systems that come out of social indoctrination, that's us. Like they don't even deserve our negative attention. Don't
No.
even deserve that, right?
Look at it like an ex that, if he calls you up, you don't even answer. Block your phone. Just like
Yeah.
don't engage, don't give that attention, right? And some and it is like a breakup. This is a narcissistic, abusive,
Yeah.
vampiric, and we see this in our own lives, right? So the trials and tribulations of our own relationship world is the micro to the macro. So
Mm.
breaking free of that in our own lives, saying goodbye to those toxic relationships, knowing that we're worthy and deserving of so much more. um it's like you're not going to take it anymore. And that's like with the system that wants to constantly engage us, in the false light and in the absolute dark. And it's hard to know who to trust, so we're going to still observe, but like we can do it from more neutrality, and not get so sucked in. It's good to, like, kind of monitor what's going on, but to absolutely take a break, and know that, like, as the energies increase for us to activate, ascend, and upgrade, and be that override frequency that de-weaponizes and dismantles the dark weapons and all the distortions and frequency modulations that are being thrown at us constantly, that we override that with our consciousness, because it's trying to trigger us constantly into a lower vibration, and we absolutely have the ability to you know override it. So if you find yourself overwhelmed, give yourself a digital break, put your stuff in a Faraday bag, go out into nature, and know that the dark weaponry has nothing on you. It can only target everything about lower levels of consciousness. So it works in tandem with the stuff coming through the news, stuff coming through social media, to keep you in that triggered response. It's like the 5G and the nanoparticles in our body, and what's streaming at us is all interconnected, so that the antenna that they want to create in our beings is constantly thinking thoughts that are artificial, right? So that's what begins to modify the human into the transhumanist agenda, and begins to separate one from their soul matrix, which actually over the course of time turns them into like an EBE, and like what one might call a gray. So when you recognize, like, yeah, that trajectory of staying with that abusive partner, not like paying attention to the red flags, constantly defending your captors, because you're just so used to that being what you answer to. It's like, no, it's not going to let you go easy, but you are in charge of you, and you get to call the shots. You have your boundaries, right? And no matter what happens or whatever it looks like, as long as you free yourself in your mind, everything else will follow and catch up. No matter how long it takes, as long as you got that piece, everything will fall into alignment. And even if you got the what, and even if you did play along for a while, once you snap free of that dependency bond and the control matrix on your mind, you will connect with your higher mind, and it'll know what to do to heal your body. I truly know this and believe that. So I'm not into the doom and gloom for, like, oh, they're all screwed because they chose that. I don't believe that at all. I know we're alchemists. I know that the power of spirit can transmute anything. And those that aren't ready for it, that's where they are in their soul journey. I think a lot of us have that empathic overload. Like, this is what I've been struggling with. It's just like, oh, the friends and the family is just like, and the emotion just like, it's been a big mourning process, of just kind of letting go and just trusting too. Like, they're where they need to be. There's only so much one can do. It's more important to hold the love, whether it's from a distance or whether it's just that's all you talk about, is just how much you love each other, no matter what kind of different decisions one's making. Even if you voted for the B guy, right? Even if you just took that, and it's just like, doesn't matter, that they're still duped. They're still a beautiful soul. They're still thinking that that's the best choice. Let's just still love each other and have compassion and unconditional love, because that's what creator is giving us to help us to heal and recover from all the things that we're maybe feeling bad about that we did, or the mistakes we made. Let's be easy on ourselves. This has been like freaking insane down here.
Wow. Oh my gosh, Laura, you are on it today. Holy moly. You know what? So everything you're saying, it really comes down to what degree do we want to test the validity of it? And maybe some people on here have heard me say this before, and I think I told you, but I was exercising on train tracks. I was like jogging and just doing a bunch of like movement. And out of nowhere, a cop car just comes like screaming at me, lights blazing, out in the woods, there's no one there. And I'm like thinking, is he here? Like, what the heck, He comes skidding, stop. I'm just standing there. He's like, get over here right now. Put your hands on the back of the car. And I was like, for what? I'm like, I didn't do anything. I was exercising. And he was just relentless. He was like trying to like wave the badge, the authority thing. And I just stopped and I asked myself, this was an intuitive process. It's like, how can I serve this individual? How can I serve this situation? Because he thinks he has the upper hand, right? And if I was afraid or what, like, then he would. But as soon as I thought that, I immediately felt calm. And so when I got near him, he started getting calm. And then he started making excuses that were valid. He was like, well, he goes, people aren't supposed to be out here and we have to, monitor all that. Anyway, long story short, we had the most incredible conversation for like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. And the point of all that is that's not the only time I've had experiences like that. I've had many experiences like that, and I know many others have as well. And so, to the degree that we're ready to exercise our self awareness, our power, others are going to feel it because really we're not different. It's same energy in everybody and everything, but what we do with that energy defines us. And when you're around people who they know something's up in the world. They don't know what. Maybe they've worked in these systems, but it's like you said, it doesn't matter. It's a soul. It is a being that born into this world with temporary amnesia. By us holding our peace, by staying in coherence, they feel that. They're influenced by it. And that's amazing. So
I know. I know. And then that's the thing with, frequency. It's yeah, obviously contagious. That's
yeah,
why,
yeah.
they have these, technologies that, like beam out, these frequencies very often
Right.
when there's a major planetary alignment that's going to create a huge growth period. That's usually when a really, really massive like psyop or false flag happens to like pull the carpet from underneath. But when we can hold our space, yes, we might react, but like, can we get back to center before we overly invest ourselves in the reaction that they want, right? Which is similar to just even being with that cop, he's trying to exert power, but you hold your space, then life responds to you in a different way because the vibration that you hold has the capacity to override the frequencies that are being blasted at you. You can either drop down into that and meet it where it's at and be in that struggle, or you can hold a ground that it can begin to find itself in resonance with, because that exists within that being. They've just been trained or like taught or programmed to act a certain way, but like you hold that space for yourself, which is stronger, then that touches that place within them and brings them back to their soul and their ability to see and have a real, dialogue. Because, you could be anybody, right? But they
Yeah.
feel you, right? Like we feel each other. And it's so important that we don't lose that ability and our intuition. And I know like there's this whole emotions are complicated, and there's certain ET races that were like, okay, enough with the emotions. Let's just like drop that. Like, look, they turned into grays, right? It's just all about the mind, all about the intellect, all about the technology, and forget about the soul and the emotions. We don't want to discount any of the elementals. We're earth, air, fire, water. And, we learn from nature when the clouds billow up and fill up with moisture, and it's gonna rain, and there's fire. It's just like we're learning to just embrace the fullness and wholeness of all that we are. And so many beings and races on a larger picture level are trying to repair themselves from making those choices along the way. And here we are in this pivotal time in humanity, faced with something that's so huge as far as like what trajectory we're going to go down, that we've maybe already gone down before, that we have also been warned about or have been visited. And, you know, when we see the larger picture of contactees and abductees, you know, we go beyond the linear timelines. You know, what can we do to like prevent things from going in that direction again? Obviously, we've learned so much as a soul, and it's time to embrace those lessons and not make the same mistakes. They're relying on us in a lot of ways. At the same time, yeah, oh gosh, that's a whole nother story. But I know we were going to take questions, right? Or where do you want to go?
Let's do it. Let's definitely take questions. So, Greg, are you there?
I most certainly am. Awesome conversation, guys.
Just want to introduce to everybody. Greg is helping. He does the meditations, all the tech for it, and helps. And yeah, we've been doing stuff with Laura. So what did you say if people raised their hand, right?
I'm just a tech guy behind the scenes, but I love doing all the meditations and joining with you guys. It's such a blast. It's great.
Yeah.
So so a little Q&A session. I can somebody kind of verify at the bottom of the Zoom, there's actually a raise hand icon. Can somebody just give me a yes or a no? Because it's not appearing for me because
it's in the reactions on my
Okay.
computer. It says reactions and then raise hand. Yeah.
Perfect. So if you raise your hand, guys, just go ahead and raise your hand. If you have a question, it'll put you at the top of the list, and we'll just take those in order. And then when you come on, you can just unmute yourself and join right in.
We're on other platforms too, right?
Yeah, we're restreaming over to YouTube and Facebook. And unfortunately, I forgot to record it over here on Zoom, but it's also recording over there anyway. So I'm going to piece everything together. So don't worry, we're going to get the recording going. So Vicky, please go ahead and just unmute yourself and join in. You have to click there you go. Okay.
Did I do it?
Yes. Welcome.
You can hear me. You can hear me. That's great. Wow. I'm so excited to be here and hear and just witness and hear the vibrations because I have been just craving to have a group like with Laura's energy is just it's insane, but I just knew it was going to be attracting like this really big group. I don't know how I knew. And then to see this happening and like feel Seth's meditation right now is nuts because I wrote down this morning almost half of what he just said. So something's happening in the collective where all of this embodied awareness of who we are, what we're standing in, and how that's going to impact the world is happening. Like it's happening in other people around me. It's like I feel like it's multiplying. So I just wanted to share. Yeah, like I got so many chills during that meditation, and I want to just share my joy, but also continue to grow the group and just know or want to know what are other ways that we can get more people involved and you know what are the best ways to help each other, you know, obviously by connecting like on a platform like this, but how like I've noticed what Seth just shared about stopping in that moment and saying how can I be of service, like that, just going to that level with people I never normally would has really changed. So I just wanted to share all that because I just feel really aligned to everything that's coming up today. So thank you everyone involved so much.
Oh, thank you so much for feedback.
Yeah. And you know what, too, if anybody, just raise your hands if you want to say anything, but to kind of like answer on what you said, Vicky, or to piggyback on it, so much is happening in just this world alone. And the more of us start kind of realizing what was always there and what we had access to. It's kind of like sympathetic resonance, you know, like on a guitar. Hit one string, but those other strings are vibrating with it. And we're kind of like that. Hit a few notes, we hit a few like soul chords or whatever, strings, and then suddenly others around start to do it as well, because it's actually what is really going on. You know, like Laura was saying, all the frequency weapons, all that stuff. Yeah, it's big and it's happening and it's here in this world. But you know what? Our connection just to these planets alone are way bigger, way more powerful than all of the artificial crap that's pushed out here. And that's just the solar system. What if we're in tune with the galaxy? What we are and what is actually happening is so much bigger than all of this artificial stuff that we've been taught to prioritize, because nobody taught us to prioritize knowing ourselves as what we really are. But that's changing now. So just want to say that.
Yeah. Awesome. I see kind of a big question in the chats about experience astrological confusion. Yeah, it is a bit confusing, right? There's a 13th sign. As far as what I've come to understand, which makes total sense to me, is the sun started to move through the 13th sign in 2010. A lot of people are like, do I need to redo my astro chart because of this 13th sign? But it kind of overlays between Scorpio and Sagittarius. November 30th to December 17th is Ophiuchus time. Now, the Vedic and the Western, you know, people have their preference. I tend to do Western, you know, readings. So yes, in a Western chart, it would say that the new moon is, you know, Capricorn. You just have to just follow your own intuition. What do you feel drawn to? I feel the Western is sort of like what we're kind of dealing with on a human scale, with a lot of the Gregorian, just like what are we? I mean, the systems are different, but they both have, you know, kind of validity. And you can research and look at, you know, what are the differences between the two? Does one override the other? Should you choose one over the other? I say embrace both, and just follow, you know, your intuition. I do reports that are more, you know, Western, but I, you know, understand the Vedic as well. But me personally, my chart, I resonate more with the Western
Yeah.
interpretation of it when I see myself. I'm so Libra. It's like Vedic would say I'm Virgo. And I guess, you know, absolutely I am too. And I see that this is a different level of my being. You know, it's just sort of like all these systems matter. It's just, you know, it's like, it's sort of like how some people see like a flat earth, or but other people are like, no, it's a sphere. You know, is there really a right or wrong? It's all about like, you know, where is that vibration resonating? So I find value in both. I can see and feel into both, but I define it differently within myself. As far as explaining the difference between the two, we don't have to like go there, because anybody can just kind of look that up. But not all systems in Vedic or Western incorporate the 13th sign. This is something that I incorporate because I know there's a 13th sign. So when I read charts, like I know where the degrees are of Ophiuchus. And so when the transits happen in that time of year, one can, you know, like incorporate that. So earth, air, fire, water, ether. Ether is connected to Ophiuchus and the mitochondrial DNA, which is sourced from mother energy that has been damaged. And that's what is healing. So I look at just the astrological stuff in the zodiac as like our DNA that is repairing itself. And now that Ophiuchus is here, it is helping to purify the toxicity that has just infiltrated our nucleic acids and created genetic damage and all these things that we think we can't heal, but actually we can, because when we allow that unconditional love to come in and just pour through our system, that time of year is a really incredible time for like cleansing and healing. So, but yeah, I just wanted to, you know, kind of answer that. And, you know, it's just good to just get both, right? It's like, because here we are in this world as it is, and there's different methods of divination, or it's like more yeah, astrology has a lot more to do with just divination, but yeah, I just would follow your intuition on it. So Raquel, does she do Western or Vedic? Do you know,
Western.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
So she's going to be joining us, and she is fourth generation from a astrology she would be great to ask this question to, because she was born into a family of astrologers. I kind of like pursued this on my own, and it was like it really just like helped me. I learned along the way with the I Ching and Tarot and other things. Those were my guides. Um, so yeah, it's like you have to just kind of expand yourself a little bit beyond, these systems, knowing the bigger picture of like a lot of the things that have like changed. You're not going to find software, or at least I haven't, that will incorporate the 13th sign. If you have, I think there is that one galactic astrology that I've looked at. But yeah, I just sort of intuit it because I just feel into like what's happening. And
Somebody asked what it is here. Is it called different names, or is it just kind of like on the DL, or
what, the DL?
13th down low? The down low 13th sign.
Yeah, what about it?
Does it have a name? I'm sorry for my ignorance, but
Yeah, Ophiuchus.
oh, okay, all right. I
Yeah,
missed that.
Ophiuchus, and it's connected to Chiron, and it's connected to the ether element. So most zodiac signs are earth, air, fire, water, right? Where's the ether? Well, the inverted pentagram and the dodecahedron platonic solid connected to ether was put in reversals, dark technologies, putting that energy into reversals so that we would digress planetary grid network, and areas where that energy should be flowing were dismantled, and harvesting dark technology, like technologies were put in those places in order to really disrupt the flow of that energy, so that we would be, a human race that's constantly suffering, epidemics, world war, all these things. Where's the mother? Where's Mother Earth? Where's this healing mother energy? Yeah. Well, through religion, we get what we got. Mother Mary and stories about Mary Magdalene, and but we haven't gotten the full picture of what is this Mother Earth as far as the Sophionic body, what happened with Tiamat, and all this stuff. So we're at a point in this ascension window as the mother energy grounds back into the planet as of 2010, when that really was secured, the diamond heart within the planetary core being anchored back into the planet. The sun started to move through Ophiuchus again, the 13th sign. And that is the ether energy, the quintessence, the fifth element. And the Venus transits were the repair work over the course of time to turn that inversion around. So that's like the unconditional love of the mother, the Venus energy with her transits over the course of thousands and thousands of years, repairing itself so that it could be anchored back in the body to turn the reversal of the Baphomet inverted pentagram upright again, so that we can have that ether element and have that penetrate into the other elementals, so that that's how we clear the waters, that's how we clear the earth, that's how we regenerate the earth, that's how we like harness the fire and use the fire correctly, that's how we clear the skies, right? So the ether element is the great purifier. And that's been manipulated on this planet. So as the sun moved through Ophiuchus, it was the time of ascension, because this is a time where the mother energy returns to bring that unconditional love and purification that comes through the cleansing of feeling loved, right? What else cleanses us and heals us but unconditional love, and finding places of pain in our body that have been diseased or injured or in pain, and giving it the unconditional love, because that is what clears it, and that's what purifies. And that is the ether energy, the breath of life, the Holy Spirit, the ether, that the cabal and the inverted matrix has wanted to completely distract us away from and demonize it, or at least as far as the archetypes and the things that we read about. But yeah, we're living on this, right? And it's connected to the Father, and planetary grid network is all about holding that that template of divine union, sacred union, alchemical marriage, hierogamic union. And so that restoration within ourselves and on the planetary grid network level, and the mother energy returning and restoring that relationship is the healing process that is going on. And that's what Ophiuchus really represents, is the pouring of that energy into the world to like heal this, because wow, we have this unconditional love that's like our mother, like coming home again within ourselves, like being nurtured from the inside out and the outside in. Like this is like real source energy. Like we're being like really like healed. And that's why Chiron rules it, because we have to face our wounds. We can cry on our mother's lap. Our mother's going to hug us. You know, we can face our wounds, and our mother will love us no matter what. Like, I'm so sorry, mom. Gives her a big hug, and you're just crying in her arms. That's the true God source. This is the mother energy. And we've been so taught like different things to just like really distort that relationship. And it's damaged that ether energy. So that purification has been very difficult. So we've been a very diseased society on every level, mental, emotional, physical, fire energy, wars, and, you know, violence. You know, I'm watching all these docu-crime series, you know, of people's true stories. And I'm just like, whoa, like, look at what these dark technologies and like all of this has done to people. Like, and I can't even believe it. I'm like, there's 12 series of nothing but people telling their stories of like these horrific things. And look at these survivors in this world. The power of the human spirit to overcome this, you know, absolute abuse on every level. What it takes to like make a person so dark and violent, and the people that like are confronting it, that are surviving. Like, look at what we're dealing with on this planet. This rehabilitation, like, I just see like the next year and into the future, more rehabilitation, more healing centers, more attention on trauma victims and rehabilitating perpetrators. If you can mind control somebody to be an assassin and murder, you can mind control perhaps a villain to become a good person, right? Can we like actually utilize mind control technologies on evil people to train them to find the goodness within themselves? By giving them good imagery, by guiding them with those kind of technologies back into goodness, can we really rehabilitate evil, you know? But if they can take a good person and mind control them into being an assassin, I think we can take somebody who's born as an evil kind of being and maybe like help them to see God again, right? So can we really heal, and not just like this judicial system in jail and you were in prison, right? It's like there has got to be a completely new earth kind of model here. And that's, I think, where we're heading for sure.
Oh my God, beautifully said, as always. You know, as you're saying that, I think it's just becoming increasingly obvious that we really are these antennas. We are the most profound scientific instrument in the world, in that these bodies have polarity. They have bioelectromagnetic fields. And when we become, it's really so much of it has to do with our attitude. When we get our attitude aligned with this highly innate intelligence of the body that is doing stuff none of us would know how to do without it, then we start to transmit what it's like, that real connection to life, not to junk food or whatever. When we do that, we are the antenna. We are the ones that are embodying and role modeling reality. And there's plenty for everybody. Like, you know, yeah, but I will say this, it's not comfortable. Like, there's a lot of moments when it's not comfortable, but when you bear with that, when you're just like, okay, I surrender, what does it take? What happens on the other side of you having trust, of you having faith that even though something is uncomfortable, it's teaching you something? And that attitude, that's what makes it all break through, and we become what we always knew we were, these empowered beings in harmony with everything that you were saying. So
Hey, so we got another, let's see, Kathy, you have a question, and then we have Julie. I also have one that was asked over in Facebook that I will relay after Julie. So Kathy, if you could just unmute yourself.
Am I unmuted?
You sure are.
Good.
Welcome aboard.
For a while. Yeah, so I guess my question is with which would be with my chart and where this fits in. And thank you for this, because it's so helpful. I am a veterinarian in a rural area, and I struggle with I'm in the trenches, right? You're in the trenches every day. You're with people in their some tough moments. And at the same time, in that presence, I understand I'm hooked into the matrix, right? My salary is dependent on production, right? So it's this messed up system. I totally understand it. My frustration is I'm stuck, right? If I feel stuck, because I'm going like, well, it is still about money in the end. Like they still got you, and you're just like, that's great. And so I feel really stuck and frustrated. Like, okay, I can participate in this, knowing that it's all duped and that it's all messed up, and trusting it's coming to a change, and there will be healing centers. But then I'm faced with, yeah, and then the bank wants your payment for whatever, that's the reality of day in and day out. And I'm getting tired of it, like really tired of it. And so I guess my question is, in my particular chart, what I'm doing right now is working for somebody else, because that is the lesser of the difficulties, right? So versus me ramping up my business, which right now in this system is, I've just wholly given up on trying to do the same thing and waiting for something to change. So then I'm like, am I selling myself out for that paycheck? Is that why I'm doing it? Or is it time to make a change, and just say, but then I'm like, well, how do you get out of the system and still survive, and I guess that's a survival mentality. They got me, right?
That's a really tough one.
Well, Laura, before you say something, let me say this to you, Kathy, because I was born, I didn't really have anything. I grew up in a poor family. And then as I got older, I started to make a lot of money. And I was so in that system and just like into it, all that tragedy happened. I lost everything. I went to prison for a few years, just total breakdown. And ever since that happened, as soon as I start to worry about money, I stress myself out. But when I'm like, okay, there isn't enough, but I'm totally good with that. I trust life. It always works every time. And so to me, it's like, all right, we're in this system. It is what it is. But the difficulty is that we've been taught to prioritize our addiction to stress because of these money making and crumbling world structures. And as long as we give our stress to it, we are feeding it. But when we trust life, when we can just relax and still do what we're doing, not only do we get through it better, but we have new things happen. And I've put that to the test. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times, if that helps.
Yeah, it does. It is that coming back to the breathing. Like I'll find myself when you're in like, just the intensity of, you got 4 patients, animals screaming, needing ER. You're just like, okay, I'm just gonna breathe. That's all I can do right now. And just, and it's an impossible situation. You're just like, okay, I can just be present and breathe, and that's all I can do. And not beat myself up for, I'm so grateful today's my day off, and I'm like, gosh, I think I can only be in the trenches like 3 days, because it's so intensely to participate, that takes a lot of energy, right? And then you're just, and at the end of the day, I'm like, man, that 12-hour shift was just
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, I gotta go breathe now and not feel bad or beat myself up, and say, I can go and participate for 3 days, and then I need to back off and take care of me, and just trust that's the path right now. To stand that ground and hold that anchor in the crazy trenches.
Laura, before you say, I want to keep going. This is why we do the meditations. And in my life, especially when I was incarcerated and I was in there for 3 years, that first year was like the worst part of my life. But because it was all stress all day long. And then at night, they'd come wake you up and basically like mental and emotional torture. They just hold their thumb over you and make you feel defeated. And I just had this crazy idea of like, what would happen if I chose to love life that's in me more than the stress of all these things around me? And what if I started making a habit of, okay, somebody just freaked out and they're yelling and screaming. What if that's my cue, because I set a little reminder to get into coherence, to breathe, to relax, to choose to feel unconditional for love for life in you when everything around you would suggest otherwise. And so I made all it is this for me, I made a habit of rising above it. And wasn't always easy, it wasn't comfortable, but after a certain point, it just started to be there. And so it's like I worked and I worked, and I did all that internal change. And then all of a sudden it just started happening. And then when you have that experience of like, okay, I've built a habit that is totally going against the grain or the flow of what society deems as normal. When you can love your life force that is doing all these miracles with everything around, trying to suggest otherwise, that's when you become empowered. And when you feel the reward of your efforts occur and happen, new opportunities to be even more in harmony with your life force in the world. So I know you can do it. You absolutely can do it. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it without expectation, without like, oh, I need to be gentle with yourself, no matter how stressful it is. And at some point, you will be that individual who is bringing coherent states of being that you are and that you're choosing to become conscious of, and others are going to know it. They might not be able to articulate it, they might not be able to make sense of it, but they will feel it. And when you are aware of that and you witness it, it starts to become a lot easier to choose where you're going to put your focus. So, all right, Laura, sorry.
Oh, good. Gosh, beautiful. Yeah. So Kathy, I think you said so much. Did you want me to share anything about your chart?
That Seth was those are very empowering words and kind of helps to pull it all inside, right? And keep that flamed. Yeah, and I know we got a lot of people on the call, so I think I'm okay to have you call on somebody else and look at their chart individually.
Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, thank you so much.
So, Julie, I saw you put your hand down. Are you okay?
No, I just didn't want to be in. Yeah, I'm good. Gosh, Kathy, I just have to share that you're caring for Mother Gaia's beings, these animals that might be these people's only exposure to unconditional love. So you being in service to these animals, if you can keep that value, like your values with the animals, with Mother Gaia, with supporting unconditional love with these innocent beings that are reflections of everything around them, then, that kind of centering might help the burnout. Because I hear you're burned out. I hear you're working too hard and you're depleted. So you're right. You need self-care and you need to relax, but you are valuable and you're needed. You're needed there. So that's what my heart was pulling at to say. And then one other thing, I was like, I just want to remind people, when you're feeling this cleansing, these things are coming from Mother Earth to beg us to face these obstacles, these trials, these things, these scary things that we don't want to face, that we've been spending our whole lives. Maybe our ancestors, maybe it's epigenetics, and it's our turn to transmute and do the inversion, like Laura was talking about. We're here to cleanse the grid, to add to the light grid. So when you're feeling these challenges, please ask for yourself to support yourself. Like, go in and give yourself unconditional love. Don't go to that place where you're like, well, if somebody would have just told me I was perfect, I never would have had this. You know what I mean? Like, because that's all anyone wants to hear, is that you're perfect and I love you. But do that for yourself. Like, there's so many people in our world that want to heal the world, but until you can say, I unconditionally love you and I accept you and I make space for your feeling, and what you're feeling is valid, that you feel isolated, that you feel hurt, that you felt abandoned, like, until you can heal that in yourself, and you can ask, you can say, Divine Mother Sophia, Mother, Father, Life Force, show me, help me see it. And when you ask, you can get through the pain so much faster. So that's just what I felt like in my heart to share with you guys. Don't forget to ask for help.
Great
You don't
point.
have to do this all on your own. And you will get support. Like it will come from the ethers and you will feel it. And then you'll transform everybody else's timeline around you. So with love, I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
Oh,
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Wow.
That was awesome. Thank you, Julie.
yeah.
Thank you. So,
Well-
Sherry, I see you're not driving, but you're traveling. Would you like to be also on video here when you ask your
Sure, can
question?
you see me?
Yeah, sure can.
Oh, hello.
Okay,
Um,
welcome aboard.
Thank you. I worked with Laura a few years ago to detach from many things in Austin, and I walked away. I walked away from the hospital. I walked away from that death mill. I walked away from a lot of things and sold everything I had. And what Seth had just spoken about was really speaking to what I've done. And yes, it can be very scary when you've once had money and then now you have very little, especially with all the changes that are going on. The timing of this program today, Laura, is really remarkable. Thank you so much. And it's real scary. And I didn't think I would make it. In fact, I thought I would be dead before now. And I'm not, and I'm pretty healthy. So the path that I'm choosing, instead of completely disintegrating from or disconnecting from anything to do with the healthcare industry, is I'm looking at, and I'm in the class for integrative nurse coach advocate, and I don't know if I really want to do it or not because of my own PTSD, but I've learned a lot. And to help people move past the trauma of their recent past and drop the trauma loop and accelerate the neuroplasticity in our being, that's my goal. I've come a long way, and gosh, thank you, Laura. Thank you for the journey you've been on. And I don't know Seth very well. And I am back in Texas to be with people that are passing. And I hope to be back in South Dakota before too long. But who knows what this journey is going to be. So I believe you might still have my date of birth and all of that, Laura. If you can pull up anything, I would greatly appreciate it. Or even drop a card. A card would be good. And Seth, your wisdom and for you to have been locked up for so long and to have gotten to where you've gotten with the exercise and the meditation that you've done, I have to apologize and bow my head because my discipline is for shit right now. And I really didn't think I'd be alive. So
it's funny you
you
say
for
that. I felt the same thing. A lot of the things I was facing, it was like, I'm not going to live through it. Just too much to take. But, you know, like what you did, just keep doing it. You don't need to project all your fears and worries into your future. Just do your best to take your attention. Be aware that there's innate intelligence. And a lot of people have heard me say this a million times, but every one of us have this profound innate intelligence that is running complex systems of our bodies. And just like our breathing, it's going on whether we're aware of it or not. So instead of like embodying or thinking about all these wide, like way out there techniques and belief systems, it's so simple. You just take your awareness, you know your heart is beating because you can feel it. And the more you synchronize yourself, your attitude with this innate intelligence that is allowing all of us to exist, at some point, it recognizes that you put so much of your attention into it that it's like, okay, here, now you're doing the work, you're getting in tune with what you really are. Let's have who you are. be augmented by that. Let's have who you are be charged by it.
So
I
cool.
feel it.
Yeah.
And I knew it when I was 11 that this would be a special time to be alive. I had no idea it would be listened to.
Right? Are you 26th of October?
Yep,
Awesome. Austin, Texas, 1:30 p.m.
correct. Actually, it turned out to be 1:18.
Oh,
But do
yes.
1:30, it's fine. It doesn't matter.
And what, the year was 55?
55, yeah.
So 1:18 p.m.?
1:18.
And was that Austin, Texas?
Sure was.
Awesome. Yeah, so what would you like me to look at?
Will I make it back to South Dakota? Is that where I'm supposed to be? There's a place in Nebraska that's just remarkable with that geothermal greenhouse. I haven't been to Montana yet. I just want to be in a place to where I feel nurtured instead of giving so much of myself all the friggin' time. And if I'm being disrespectful, please forgive me. I'm burnt out.
Yeah. Well, Uranus is transiting your fourth house. It just entered your fourth house, actually. And Uranus is all about breakthroughs and change. And it's just like you're answering to like your authenticity, your truth, what you want to just experience that makes you feel like a sense of freedom within yourself. So traveling through your fourth house is going to have a lot to do with the places that you go, the locations. And Uranus is a lot about synchronicities, right? So you might not know, but you'll know when you need to know because it's always available to us when we can kind of surrender a bit, you know? So trust and surrender, right? Like where your journey takes you. Uranus will help, guide you. It doesn't want you to waste any time in places that don't serve your higher self and what your truth is. And so if you notice something doesn't work out or something falls apart, just be fluid with it. Just work with it. Let what falls into place, just guide you and notice the messages that show up, the conversations, the people, the synchronicities, the just messages that you're getting and how that's, guiding you forward. Jupiter's going to make its way into the fourth house as well. And it's really like a lot is lighting up your fourth house. And ninth house, you have your sun, Neptune in your natal chart. So you just are a person who loves to travel and journey, and your midheaven with Venus and Saturn. You are a teacher of the heart. You have gone through a lot of life changes that have given you the ability to hold a certain strength on a heart level that is really inspiring. Mars is progressed right on top of this. So that warrior energy mixed with the Saturn Venus conjunction on your midheaven, it's helping you to let go of the people in your life that aren't in alignment with the integrity that you hold and the vision that you hold for yourself, because your life journey is defined by answering to your heart. And where that has felt controlled or limited and blocked, your ability to expand beyond it and journey beyond it has been the way shower for you. And so as Uranus moves into the fourth house, it's just, just giving you a feeling of, like anything is, possible. And so I would just really just, trust yourself as far as, what falls into place. Pluto getting very close to your Chiron on your ascendant with the square to the sun, Neptune. there's a lot of like purging and clearing of the way it looks and how you might feel about it, to like release yourself of any kind of belief systems that would throw you into any kind of like concern or doubt or fear, or there's a massive like purging taking place. And on the other side of it, because the same Pluto that is transiting Chiron hits your natal Mars and Mercury, you've got the power of the mind and manifestation. If you can envision it, it's just like there's a strength in you and a healer in you and a visionary in you that is just like so much more powerful than you can imagine. And the type of people that you will like attract to yourself, Uranus is right on your descendant, and it forms this aspect with Mars, Mercury, with this Pluto moving into Aquarius. I can't tell you, like, there's so much medicine in every moment that is just to be like embraced. And when we're tuned into that, we see that nature is supporting our healing, and everything that we're experiencing is supporting that healing process. When our mindset is in fear and anxiety, we notice things that reinforce it, and you're purging out all of that stuff so that you can only see the things that are supporting you and are taking you to the next level of your journey, that is just like really huge. Like there's a lot about incredible like soul connections, and you're really here as a teacher of the heart, and recovering from something so enormous that your warrior spirit has been able to help you navigate through, and you've set yourself free in order to experience all the blessings that come with answering to yourself and the truth. And now that it's moving to the fourth house, the locations and the places that you go are complementary to this. It's a direct reflection of aspects of your being that is coming to life, so that you can, interact with what you confront from that place of, heart strength and warrior spirit that you hold so strong. It's just incredible.
Laura.
I don't know if that helped, but
Thank you. Yes, that was remarkable. So it just confirms that I'm not a complete fuck up because I walked away from society and sold as much as I could. And I am following my heart. And when I feel suffocated or feel like I'm putting myself back in a prison, I'm disconnecting more often. But it's still really, really lonely, as we all know.
I think it's going to.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
The last 3 years since I first visited with you, this is not who I knew myself to be. And I'm not cruel. In fact, I found the kindness in my heart again. And I keep moving forward, and it's terrifying. And thank you, Seth, for talking to me about following my breath. That's one thing I forgot to do in the ER when it got so bad. And thank you, Laura. You will hear from me again.
Sherry, that's why we're doing this, because we're all alone together, you could say, right? Like everybody feels that. But when you realize that you're actually not alone, yeah, maybe we're not in direct connection with one another, but we're doing this. I am only alive because of this, and same with Laura. So for all of us to create, we share so many more similarities than we do differences. And when we really begin to embrace that, that's when the people you're connected to start to become more active in your life. You can do it.
Sherry's.
Yeah, no, and the fact that Pluto's entering your first house, after traveling through the 12th house, retrograding, now that it's going direct, it's like, it's really, you're going to feel a huge shift. Where the challenges come up, the warrior spirit overrides, and I see a lot of like really strong connections you absolutely aren't alone. And again, yeah, what Seth said, we're alone together, and and we all have each other, and we're just going to continue to gather.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
both.
Sherry.
Yeah.
I
Thank
give
you,
you guys
Sherry.
hugs. Thank you.
Big hugs to you.
Thank you, Sherry. So Nancy over in Facebook asked this probably a good 10 minutes ago. I think we were on the topic of community and interconnectedness and all those topics, but it's kind of a little bit vague, I think. But what baby steps can I take to step out and start sharing? I think that's kind of addressing the community aspect, right? We're on that topic.
What steps to take to start sharing more, building community?
I think that's what I think, Nancy, I think that's what you're alluding to. If you're still around, just yay or nay.
Yeah, if you want to unmic yourself or unmute.
Oh, she's over on Facebook.
Oh,
I'm
so
just
it's a
relaying the
question.
question.
Oh, right. Yeah, just what steps to take, right, Seth? It's just like one foot in front of the other. Just if you hold the vision and you want to make something happen, it's just you go for it, right? You just like, I'm gonna do it, right? Me and Seth talk about some of the tech stuff that we are challenged by. It's just like, I'm gonna learn it, I'm gonna do it, because who else is gonna do it? We just got to do it. Where you want to have a voice. I like the whole kind of metaphor of dancing like nobody's looking. You're doing it because it's fun and you love it. Whoever shows up, great, dance along with me, but I'm not even paying attention because I'm living my truth. I'm singing my song. I've freed myself from what everybody thinks, but I'm allowing myself to present myself because I'm raw and I'm vulnerable. But I'm also just being me. And what do I have to lose, right? And you'll notice like your tribe, your soul family, and the people that are really aligned with you will show up. And it's so worth it, because this is just a really gift to yourself. It's like self-love. Like, I can be me in the world. I mean, we're done with the school system and just the awkwardness of it all and the cliques and all this kind of stuff. We're on a completely different level as humans. We're here to be soul-centered. We're here to be authentic. We're here to be real. We're here to just express and share, who we are, and, take it or leave it. It's like, just give this gift to yourself, because it gives other people permission to set themselves free and be themselves. And just put one foot in front of the other. If you need tech help or you just don't know like how to do it, it's getting easier and easier to be able to, create websites and channels. And, I know YouTube is kind of weird, but, it's easy to get a Rumble channel, and you just kind of just start off and like call upon, Seth or I, if you just want to share something that unique to your own mission. Like, all of you, like if there's something that you are ready to launch, a channel or something, like, let's help you get the word out there. So the step to take is to realize that you have support, you have community, and those of us that had to start from ground zero and work our way to building these things and losing those platforms and rebuilding them. Yeah, we can help you along the way as best as we can. So it's really good to just have these dialogues, because I know a lot of people are sitting there just, yeah, you want to take that next step. And maybe it's something in your local community. Like if you're feeling isolated or there's not a lot of like-minded people, well, maybe you're the leader in the community that's going to take the initiative and put something on a bulletin board and say, hey, let's create a gathering. I have all this information that I just found out. Is anybody interested in talking about this? And it's amazing when you take that step. Because I'm not a very, you can tell, like, trained to be a public person. I'm just kind of winging it, right? It's a deeper calling. And how do you really prepare? You just got to go for it. And I know I don't always show up at my best, but I'm happier to show up being the real me than not. And it's just, what do we have to lose? Because the ones that really are all about doing the real work and healing together and just working energy together, are gonna just be a part of it with you. And this is what Seth and I would like to inspire in people. And that's why we're doing this. So it's a perfect kind of question. What are your thoughts, Seth?
Same. I could mimic everything you just said. And yeah, like we're here. We are out here. Greg and I do a weekly live meditation every Tuesday night. It's funny because my whole life I was always like, all right, where are the conscious communities? Like, where in the world do I have to go to find these people? And then everything that happened with, the past few years and the insanity, it created the biggest community I didn't even know was here in the state of Maine, where I live in the middle of the woods. So here, the community that I always wanted to be a part of in a very low populated state, it's here. It happened here. And if it can happen here, it is everywhere. So, like Laura said, maybe you're the leader. Maybe you're the one that's going to start it off. And that's part of it too, is like what we're all doing here is like it's leaders unleashing leaders, because all of our quote unquote world leaders, they're not really fit to lead, But if we're honest with ourselves, if we're real, we don't have to have all the answers, but if we take the initiative to feel faith in life, then we can begin to see the results. Our faith in life is the beginning. Like, just jump out into what you envision your life being, and you'll be amazed at what can happen and will happen if you keep at it.
Yeah, so I'd like to kind of piggyback just very briefly then. So Laura hit so many keynotes on that, and a little bit about my background too is that close to, I think, even going on 20 years ago, after realizing, I think that was maybe like part of my awakening phase too, just realizing that like the matrix is not what it seems. There are so many Kabbalistic and everything, just kind of programming our minds as we're growing up and everything, to conform to certain ways, and Trey, you're right. The lockdown did actually help so many people awaken too, but even going back to close 20 years ago, what I originally got into was just realizing that like, okay, so, we got this bank trying to take away, my father's, family owned three-flat apartment building in Orange, Chicago and everything. And now I'm one to actually get down and dirty and study and learn all this stuff, but realizing that like there's no such thing about, no such thing with money and everything. It's already paid off. And like I'm trying to figure out lawful ways. But point being though is, I learn all this stuff and you become belligerent. It's just like, I don't believe they did this to us and blah, blah, blah. But throughout the years, I've become more spiritually inclined, I guess, and I've learned like different avenues and things that it's like, no, it's, like we're all in this together. We're interconnected. And, there are so many just aspects of this matrix world that, we just need to understand. And we're only just scratching the surface, so more recently now, as far as pulling the community together and what Laura and Seth are also saying is that put yourself out there. I'm putting myself out there. I thought that I was going to be just, one of those people, sit down and just take it, and just, because you got so many things coming at you. But you know what? If I need to help be that voice, I will do that. I will put myself out there. And this is me putting myself out there. And I just want to help so many other people too, become free, because you know what? Freedom to one person might not be the same to another. Somebody might want to become free of, debt, or somebody might want to be free by getting more spiritually and interconnected, like with each other, to God, to, whatever they think that is and everything. But there are so many aspects. So that's why also, even with getting involved, and I'm so happy to have met Seth too many years ago, getting involved with just coherence meditations and getting down to that inner work that we all need to do, that is just bettering myself, to be prepared for all of these things that are just attacking us. So on that note too, yes, we have our YouTube channel. The QR code right here is Cosmic Guy Community. This is actually where everyone can learn about then our weekly coherence meditations on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern.
And that one's Laura's channel too. the Cosmic Gaia community page on YouTube.
Yes.
Right.
She's
I
let
can't.
us-
Yeah.
but
I'm
it's
not
hers,
able to
yeah.
just kind of post without Seth doing it for me because I'm banned for life.
So so to kind of continue on that and talk about community, I know it's in the it's something that's been in the making called Freedom Snap, and it's a community site we're trying to pull together and to allow everyone, like I said, no matter which aspect of freedom you're trying to attack, you can get on there, you can be your own voice and put yourself out there. So that's something we're building. Newsletter, please do sign up over there, and we're gonna pull things together, guys. It's
Yay.
gonna be awesome.
So awesome. Yeah, so a lot more to come. Yeah, Seth and I have a lot of great ideas in the works, and it's so awesome. Thank you, Greg, for everything. And yeah, are we taking any more questions, or it may be time to say goodbye?
We have, I think, two more. So I know Trey, you asked something here in the Q&A channel, and it was right here. I don't know, Seth, if you can see that, or Laura. It's the what does trione uniferum mean? Did I say that right? And did you see the JTT podcast yesterday about scalar wave technology? Awesome. Would you describe ether? AETHER.
So that it's kind of a few questions in one, right?
Yeah. You can hit the Q&A button down at the bottom of the Zoom,
Oh, that's what
and it'll show it.
Oh,
So
yes.
I didn't see what the show he was talking about. Seth, do you have anything to first say?
I don't, but you know, all the scalar technology has been around for quite a while. And I know that there's been some, like the EE system, there's been a bunch of new incarnations of that technology. And some people are reporting amazing results. Others are, they're not saying the opposite, they're just indifferent to it. But yeah, all those technologies have the ability to be really helpful. But you know, in my perspective and Laura's, many of us, the most powerful technology you could say there is, the organic technology, is when we become conscious of this energy that's causing the heart to beat, it's causing all these complex systems in our body to function, for thoughts to arise in our mind. And that's all just the organic nature of our, it's like the, how do you say it? It's like the fabric of life itself. And when we get out of our own way and we begin to connect to it internally, that becomes the force that is supported by the biggest forces. And to the degree that you can do that in your life, and then we come together and we encourage that in each other, to me, that's the best technology, if that helps.
Yes. So, how do you define ether element? That's
Energy,
just,
right?
yeah, ether. There's so much to all of that. Oh man. Tesla talks about ether behaving as like liquid for matter and as a solid for light and heat, and like how it connects to the platonic solids like the dodecahedron is very interesting because earth, air, fire, water, ether. So it's like that substance of ether is that alchemical, I feel, that alchemical ingredient that helps to transmute and alchemize things. I mean, that ether energy is, you know, the great purifier. And I feel it's connected to the breath of life, the quintessence, the fifth element, the breath of life. That is this ether energy that is like made of the unconditional love of source energy from 0 point unified field. You know, this comes in and just, you know, how do we heal, right? I mean, what is that force that allows us to recover from injury or disease or accident, and or to cleanse our emotions? It's like there's something that washes through us and helps us to cleanse when we're connected, right? And there's a lot of good in the medical industry, but you know, the darker aspects though aren't really able to help us to connect into that so well in our healing process. And this is what's being repaired on the planet right now. So, you know, fire, water, and ether, and just like a lot about just like liquid plasmas transmitted by our sun. Just it's an energy that just exists in creation that helps to purify the elementals of earth, air, fire, water, is what I feel. So when we see the pentagram upright and that ether energy is upright, it just
Makes
has
sense.
circulation of energy that knows how to clear itself of toxicity, and it knows how to deprogram and like restore things to wholeness and balance and restoration. So the ether energy to me is the alchemical substance of the elemental kingdom.
Great description. We've got two more, Lord. JJ has their hand up, and then Maria.
JJ, if you can unmute yourself. There you go.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you, Greg.
Actually, that was kind of the question about Ophiuchus, because I'm right in there on December 2nd, and Trey said she's also a Sagittarian Ophiuchus. Would that affect our reason for being here on the planet? Because I keep wondering, what the hell am I doing? Because I just moved away from where I've been in California for 25 years, and I went away for a year, ran out of money, and I am back in my old apartment in California again. And I'm thinking, there's got to be a reason I'm here. And I'm thinking it's probably helping other people I know get through all this stuff that's happening right now because they have no clue. They're so not awake. So just wondering if that, if you could like confirm that or describe that or maybe argue with me.
Oh, confirm. Confirm what?
That because I'm Ophiuchus and I'm back where I was before with the same people who aren't awake.
Oh,
Is that like that was the universe moving me around? Because I didn't want to come back, but I had no money and I can live in my old apartment right now for free. So I'm supported. I'm fully supported here, but I can't figure out why I'm here.
well, it'd be
Again.
interesting to look at the astrocartography of why you're just
Oh,
what is the energy of that area.
that's a good idea. I mean, I love it here, but I was ready to leave because my social interactions were not loving or helpful anymore. So I moved away to try another place with a friend. And like I said, I ended up being, I'm out of money basically. So I'm here to recover, to figure out how to create income streams. But I also feel like there must be a reason I'm here back here with the same people in the same place.
Right. Right. So yeah, I don't know if looking at your chart now or maybe working
If
with
you,
you.
uh,
You want me to take a quick look?
I would love that if you have time. Just that I thought it was more
Great.
general with the ether question and the energy question, but yeah, chart would be great.
Is that okay, Seth?
What's that?
Is that okay to just quickly
Oh,
look?
I'm absolutely, of course.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So what's your name?
You've read for me before. It's Julie J. Cox.
Oh, I
J-A-Y.
probably have you in here. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hold on.
Yep.
Da, 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 da.
Just it was I was gone for a year and then it was just this instant flip back here.
Yeah, well, it's always interesting when you return to a place and like with ether energy, it's just kind of you're coming back as a different, not different person, but like you probably right. And
I agree. Yeah.
so you're coming back with, gifts and activations and all sorts of things that anchor into, just where you came from. That's huge. You're not 2nd of December, are you?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Woodland, California?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, I got you.
It's all in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at
So I'm only a few miles from where I was born.
location. And okay, so what's the exact location?
I'm in San Francisco right now.
and those questions about just wanting an income stream and like trying to get things moving there, like
well, that I have a list of things that I think will work, but it's more about why am I back here? Why did the universe fling me back into this space when I had worked so hard to leave? That feels like the question today. Like, am I here to help people? I mean, I'm obviously helping myself, but in the process, am I helping others also?
Yeah. Well, Chiron on the MC, which is midheaven, and Uranus on the IC, which is which has to do with foundation and kind of like home and roots. It's just there's something about you being in your truth and you having an incredible healing impact on the people around you, because both Chiron and Uranus on midheaven and IC, whoa, are kind of really close to that San Francisco area. So there's definitely reasons that you would be pulled back there. So Chiron and Uranus would have wanted to make you want to leave, because Uranus is all about rebellion and liberation. I got to get out of here, right? Chiron's all about like injury, like healing and wounds. Well, we'll start with the wounds and injury, right? And then the healing. So what I'm seeing is like the need to leave, and then like you come back after Uranus has completed its upgrade and awakening to like you being like, this is my truth, this is who I am, because that's what Uranus does. It's the wrecking ball, like, oh gosh, it's crashing all these belief systems or like relationships or jobs, or like this doesn't work or that doesn't work. It's like the wrecking ball, like, so that you are living in accordance to what your higher self wants for you. That's how Uranus works. And with the Chiron, it's based in the things that have hurt, that want to launch you in a new direction. Now that you have launched yourself in a new direction, now you're ready to come back and bring the medicine to the location. All that you've gained on this journey is bringing you back. Like what propelled you to leave, you found the medicine to now bring back to the land and the area and the community and to the just everything. Is this Chiron Uranus. It's really powerful. So it would eject you, but then it would be like back
right.
because
magnet means
like the planet of extremes. It's like break up, break through, like break down and then rebuild. It's like, okay, gotta go. And now I'm coming back, and now we can like do this in the way that you would have liked to, that you couldn't at the time. You had to go venture off. And now it's like there's something that you're here to share in that area that is very significant to people finding more sovereignty in how they heal themselves without being so dependent on. It's just, you just help set people free. There's something that you did for yourself that you have to show others, that you're gonna, I don't know, things look like they're more than likely gonna fall into place.
Does this look long term? Everything I own is back where what came from. My year away, it's all in storage, and I'm here with like a suitcase. So
hold on, I would have to look a little bit deeper. It just,
okay, if that's too complicated and you don't have time, that's all right.
it just jumped off the screen. So
okay,
what's your last name again?
That's a sign. J. Cox. But that might be a sign the universe is going, don't worry about it, Jewel.
And it was
December 2nd.
Yeah, 1957.
Yeah.
Fourth house, Pluto moving into Aquarius is definitely impacting Venus in your ninth house, which has to do with like travel and adventure, but there's a lot of squared aspects. So this is really lighting up for you a lot on an emotional level, because Chiron is right on top of your natal moon in Aries. That's a lot, but your ascendant progress in Leo with Uranus. That is the line of energy, wow, of this area that you're in. That makes total sense. Just, really trust. Uranus, there's something about a connection or somebody that you might connect with while you're there, that'll begin to anchor and ground things a bit more and make things make a bit of sense. And it could, Uranus is very free, like it doesn't need to be like long term. It moves when it needs to move because it's guided by the higher self. Like now we need to go over here, right?
Okay. Okay.
So don't worry about that. But there are stabilizing influences though, because your sun Saturn has a harmonious aspect to Uranus on the IC, and your ascendant is progressed right on top of it. So there's some significant reasons, and you're totally in the flow of like synchronicities and like people that come into your life that are like riding that wave with you, and like the ones that don't belong and they're just not worth your while or not are gonna fall away, but
Yep.
And North Node, you got an amazing North Node with the Mars and Neptune. So that all on its own with your sun progressed with oh my God, we could just do a whole reading. I feel good about why you're there.
Okay.
For sure. There's something about what you're bringing back and what it's like coming full circle, and it's doing something very healing, and it's offsetting a lot of stuff that needs to be cleared.
Thank you.
It's a very important thing that you came back because it's actually working a lot of energy in that particular part of the world.
All right. Thank you so much.
Like a natural grid worker.
Okay. That must be the Ophiuchus. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Greg.
Of course.
Thank you, Trey.
Thank you. So Laura, you want to do, let's see, Maria has a question. You want to do that and then we'll call it a day?
Yeah.
Greg, you want to help her?
Yep, I just asked her how to mute. And Maria, go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay, well, it's taken me a lot of courage to even talk about what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Laura, if it was eons ago that you might have done a mini reading on me. My last name is spelled Neele. It's Neele. Mariah Neele. And I'm thinking you did it under my new name. My old name is Marlene Prescott. So anyway, I feel like Laura and Seth, you can both kind of help me with these things. I feel like I've been a spiritual being living in a physical body for a temporary time, and I've been more up in the spiritual than the physical, because the physical's been really chaotic. And but the thing about it is, normally I'm a very positive person. Wherever I go, I'm always uplifting people, smiling, and being this very positive person. And yet the things that I'm dealing with in the physical is like, well, just like the other lady said, she's trying to create income, because I have a lot of major debt and trying to figure out how I'm going to overcome that. And, I've never had that forever lover. Relationships have been, just like 5 months ago, I finally broke myself away from a narcissistic partner. Anything that you can tell me to, I feel like, if I was, okay, God says he's going to arrange my life. So I've let my ego go away. My ego doesn't, I just, live. He keeps saying, just do the things that bring me joy, be with the people that make me happy. And, but I want more. I want that abundant life. I want that love of my life. And, well, that's it. Don't get
Oh,
me to cry.
oh,
You
yeah.
can. Yeah.
Gosh, yeah, narcissism, overcoming that. Woo. It's a long journey.
But you
It's
know, there's so many good things I got out of that relationship because, you
one thing
know, my birthdays, did you come up with 12, 17, 54, Laura?
I think I would need to put your stuff in again.
Oh, okay. So Mariah Neal.
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Mariah
Hmm.
Neal, Neele. This is a name I created for myself in 2017 because I wanted to get rid of the German stuff. I was raised by Nazis. Okay. My family are Nazis. Okay.
Very vulnerable to share that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. My birthday is 12/17/54. So I'm 69, still trying to find the love of my life. Okay. I was born at 4:36 a.m. in a little town. Now, do you want the town where I was raised or the hospital where the hospital was?
Oh, just, yeah, what town was the hospital in or city?
Well, the hospital was in Redbud, and that's 2 words, Redbud, Illinois.
Red Bud?
Yes, Red Bud,
Oh, that's awesome.
Illinois.
Okay, so I got 17th of December, 1954, 4:36 a.m., Red Bud, Illinois. So Uranus is about to enter your 7th house. And so if you're not in a partnership currently, Uranus, the planet of breakthroughs, breakups, and all sorts of things. Yeah, if you're not in a partnership, something could definitely be coming. Very often when Uranus travels through the 7th house and a person's currently in a relationship, it'll really, really test that relationship. Is that person that you're with able to handle you being your authentic true self? Because Uranus will stand for nothing less, right? So when it travels through the 7th house, it's just like the feeling of like, finding somebody that you can be yourself with, like that best friend, that companion, that person that you just walk with in life. And Uranus is entering your 7th house, and guess who's like trailing behind and moving actually faster?
Venus?
Going to supersede it, Jupiter. Jupiter's moving
Jupiter.
into your 7th
Oh, yeah.
house.
Yeah,
Jupiter will be
Jupiter.
in your 7th house, and Uranus moving into your 7th house. So there's a lot of activity that is going to be influencing your 7th house for many years to come. Jupiter will move through your 7th house for about a year and a couple months. Uranus, many, many, many years. So the different pay attention to the synchronicities and the just flow of life, put yourself out there a bit, right? If you feel called to go to an event or just be
Right.
a little bit more social,
Yeah.
things will just probably more than likely line up with these kind of planets traveling through your 7th house. Because Uranus, when it travels through the 7th house, it's going to end the relationships that aren't in alignment with our truth, and it's going to help us to find the ones that are in resonance with who we are, like the people that we can really be ourselves with, that we feel that we are holding our own sovereignty and ground with somebody who can appreciate that because they're doing that too. And then you can like be on the healing journey together. Uranus really is not into like just being controlled. It's not into like just any of the kind of dynamics that you've like already gone through. It's like the world of narcissists is over. Uranus is not going to allow that anymore. The world of relationships for you is just going to be they're just guiding you to the ones that appreciate and value just you as yourself, that you can be yourself with. So all the blessings that came from the insanity of dealing with a narcissist, the timing of Uranus moving into your seventh house is just like you've broken that, patterning. You're not going to attract that again. You're drawing to yourself, people that are of higher mind, of high integrity, and who are like your real, like, when you have that best friend companion that become, that's what it looks like you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Uranus and Jupiter moving to your seventh house. So that looks good. And Uranus and Jupiter are already conjunct in your natal chart with Venus and Saturn. And your midheaven is progressed. So there's something huge about this already, like within you, right? That's why you feel it. And I really feel it's on its way. Just trust the
I
universe.
just feel like it's supposed to be right here now. And I keep saying, where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
It's already, you just already know, feel yourself dancing with it already. Feel yourself already in union with it. It's already there because you've been together before. It's like, that's your partner. That's the person, don't worry about when it shows up. Uranus is all about synchronicities and when the timing is right. It just, you almost have to surrender because Uranus, it's like your higher self has your back. So the connections that you want to maybe create that kind of fall to the wayside, like, thank God, because it wouldn't have been worth your while. You've been there, done that, right? You don't want to get entangled in something that isn't for your higher good. Uranus will protect you. It'll help you to just move past the ones that aren't worth your while to get to the one that is like a frequency, a resonance, a match with your authentic self. You hold such a strong light energy with your heart. Venus, Saturn with Uranus, Jupiter. Now that Uranus, Jupiter is entering your seventh house, it's answering to this knowingness within yourself that, yes, where is he? It's actually coming right now. Jupiter and Uranus are entering your seventh house. Oh my gosh. It's like huge. And then your sun is progressed on top of Mars, like forming a aspect. I want to like hear from you in a couple months because I think something's going to happen. It's really like you're feeling it. It's so already embrace the fact it's there because you're like really feel into it.
Yeah. I have been feeling it so much. And it's like, am I in an illusion? Am I just trying to trick myself? It's like, yeah.
No, it's and Uranus is just sort of like, wow, some kind of synchronicity will line up now that it is all moving through your seventh house. It's like, and then it's going to be in opposition to your Venus Saturn. It's
when you said God has my back or whoever has my back, I don't know if you know any Ascended Masters, but this one Ascended Master, El Moria, I don't know if you know the name El Moria. He's been one of my spiritual guides, let's say, and he has my back. Jesus, he taught me how to have peace and chaos when I was 3 years old. We played marbles on the floor in my bedroom when all hell was breaking loose. So I do have I'm up in the clouds with these guys all the time, and I got energy coming through me and all the way down to Mother Earth and back up again. But it's just the physical world that
I know. I hear you.
I just want to get the two balanced.
It begins within, did you hear the meditation when we opened this up? Were you here for that?
And that was great. I mean, yes, I did. That was wonderful.
Maria, so, we all feel like there's something out there that will complete us. And it is, but for me, I had to feel like it was already there. And that isn't just some idea. It's like I chose to feel complete because I knew I could. I knew, like, just so obvious, right? There's this force in us. The very thing that we think of with love is the heartbeat. When you take who you are and you really begin to form a habit, a relationship with every pulse of your heart, at some point you feel so in love, because it will. The more you love it, the more it'll love you, and it'll love you back.
Yeah.
Tremendously. When you feel that, it's like what Laura was saying. I don't think probably any of us on this call anymore would want to go through these karmic relationships, or, these relationships where you learn through pain rather than pleasure. And so
Mhm.
when you choose to feel like that is already there, you're going to attract that naturally, because it's just how it works,
I know, and I know this, and it's like, I don't know, for some reason today it was like all of my patience is gone. And maybe it's just this one day my patience is gone.
Well, like I was saying, the more you meet opportunities of your own pain or lack of self-worth, or the stuff that holds you back, if you put like a reminder of like, okay, when that feeling comes back, I'm going to do the exact opposite of it. Meaning,
Yeah.
yeah, you feel the loneliness, you feel the pain, you feel all that stuff. What would the opposite of it be like?
Right.
What is the next octave up from it?
Right.
And
Right.
by doing that, it's
Yeah.
a habit.
Yeah.
And when you keep doing it, at some point, you realize like, wow, I'm getting really good at this.
Yeah.
Because you already are all that stuff. The
Yeah.
only thing that's preventing you from it is just this brief little time, like Laura said, of coming to this world with amnesia and then reprioritizing it, getting you to move into what you are rather than who you think we are, right? And society has taught us how to be disconnected, how to be
Yeah.
narcissistic, how to only focus on things that are so limiting, and relationships. Look at the relationships that, we're socially indoctrinated to think matter. And it's not that they don't matter. It's just that there's a way more important relationship that has been happening before we came into this world. It's what's happening when this world leaves, and it's what's happening here now more than anything, but we're not focused on it. And so I know you can do it. You focus on feeling the love and the connection that you want to share with somebody else. And at some point, you're going to attract that. You don't want to attract any less than that, because you don't need it unless you want to. But
No, I
again,
want the real deal.
that's it. That's it. The real deal comes. Yeah, of course you
Oh,
do. We all do. That's why, like, we're in it.
I'm tired. I'm tired of halfway, partial way, almost there. No, I want the 100% deal.
Starts with you. You can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I know. I feel like I give it out all the time because
Yeah.
I feel if I give, I will receive, because you put out the energy you put out is what you should be getting back.
Ask
This is,
yourself, what would it feel like? Like, really, like, self-inquire. What
yeah.
would it feel like to have that already?
Yeah. Yeah. And I do. When I get in these meditative states, I go there and I imagine,
Do
because
it
I
unconditionally.
magic.
Well, that's it.
Yes.
But the less, yeah. And so, if you're not attached to an outcome, if you're willing to
Yeah.
feel what you choose to feel unconditionally, meaning you're not
Yeah.
attached to any outcome,
Yeah.
it becomes what you are. It becomes
Yeah.
what supports your life, because it already is. There's just these little things along the way that kind of made us forget. But now,
I think what I have been doing though is my patience is gone and I feel like that little girl having a tantrum, kicking her feet and saying, God,
nurture that little girl. You know how it is. Love her.
I wasn't heard as a child. I said, I'm wanting you to hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
I
you, Mariah. Yeah.
appreciate what you've given me.
Oh gosh. Thank you so much. Good to connect with you. Awesome.
Thanks.
Well, Thank you, everybody. Laura, thank you. Greg, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We appreciate you so much. And yeah, we're just beginning. Laura and I have some awesome projects planned out, and so do Greg. Greg has been helping, like we're all doing this together. And so Laura and I are going to do this kind of like core group. We have a couple others, Raquel Spring, a phenomenal astrologer, and Jen McCarty, Jen's been going at it for a while publicly, like really holding the truth and being it. And so we're going to do stuff with them. And we're also going to do like more of a roundtable thing where a few of us are going to have new guests on, and we're going to just create love and care and coherence and all of that at a time when I told all of you guys, I'm like, wow, I think I was born in the wrong time. I always thought that growing up. Thought I was supposed to be in the 60s when revolution was like on the verge of happening. But now I'm like, yep, I'm born exactly when I need to be born. And I'm sure Laura and Greg feel the same way, and most of you, because now all the things that really matter are starting to, right? Because for so long, before any of the lockdown or the mix up or shake up, before any of that happened, it's like we live in a world where everybody is focused on the things that don't really matter. Wait, did I say that right? Okay, so you guys want to help me say this? You know what I'm saying? All right, so everybody's focused on what they think matters, but it doesn't really matter. And so the things that really do matter didn't seem like they mattered, but now it is, because it's this connection to life, to our being, to each other. So it's beautiful to live in these times and to have that going on. So
Right on. Right on, Seth. Awesome, everybody.
and we'll check the
Thank you
social
for helping
media
us bring the
too.
one back.
Yeah.
Bringing the one back. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, check the social media if you guys want to comment or any of that. We can keep this conversation going until next time.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
go ahead, Laura. I was just going to give 2 cents really quick. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Anything
Just
closing?
yes, thanks everybody for gathering today. We're going to be doing this more and more, and it's going to be awesome to have the replays too. So if there are questions that come up from this, we will just answer and just continue to build community together. It's been such a beautiful day with all of you. Thank you so much, Seth and Greg, and all of you for coming here. And wishing you all just a wonderful, beautiful full moon Aquarius experience, and a lot of breakthroughs. That tension and anxiety, or just like whatever is just like really just getting at you, give it a voice, because it's your higher self is really wanting to show you your next step. And big things are happening, and I look forward to seeing how everybody feels next time we meet.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yes, thank you everyone for showing up here. I know that there were some other questions actually asked over on Facebook and YouTube, so we didn't get to those. Please save those for next time. And while you're over there, please do like, share to anyone that you might help knowing this for them to join future conversations, and definitely subscribe. These 2 QR codes right there. Please sign up for the email list, and that's our main YouTube channel. Like Laura said, the recording will be over there as well.
Sweet. All right, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You